When they pull us in at the end of the season to ask how we think everything's going, I'm going to bloody tell them I need a new co-host.
You'd be so boring without me.
This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Bro, you're not that sick.
No, it's hurting.
You're such a wuss.
Guys, if I sound nasally today, that's why.
We haven't even said good morning yet.
Who cares?
Guys, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. We appreciate having you listen to another week of Mad About You. Do you want to say hello or are you good?
I just said hello in a different way.
I feel like you sort of rejected all our listeners by saying who cares about them.
Oh, guys, love you. Thanks for tuning in.
This week on the pod, you guys pretty much wrote the episode, actually. So if you follow us online, we asked for some of your petty fights that you guys have been having with friends, family, or partners online, which you guys have come in with the absolute goods because we're kind of sick of sharing our petty arguments with you. So we thought maybe we'd spill a little bit of tea about yours.
Oh, and you guys have come through clutch, honestly.
Yeah, there's some goodies and there's some pretty pathetic ones as well, which
Pathetica.
I did have to leave some out. So if we do enjoy this episode, there's plenty more to do another one. Let me tell you that. But also, our Ask Mum and Dad at the end of our episode comes from a couple who are curious how long they have to wait before they share some pretty big news with friends and family. So before we get stuck into all your petty arguments today, Jad and I recently came back from a trip to Melbourne, and I just there was something that happened that really grinded my gears, and I wanted to chat to you guys about it because I'm sure that most people will, also they'll feel like their gears have been grinded by just listening to the story.
100%.
So pretty much we got invited down to the tennis by a client that we've been working with for a couple of years, and it's one of our favorite sort of events to go to. It's really special. I'm a huge tennis fan. I've grown up with tennis. Jad's probably recently quite a big tennis fan.
Yeah.
It's very special, and we felt very lucky to get invited down. But that being said, I had a knee operation recently, and we had to wait kind of last minute till we could accept the invitation because, if I wasn't able to walk and do things, we had to say no. So got out of the surgery and kind of said like, look, I'll be okay to hobble around and get there. So we said yes, and the client booked our tickets last minute. And because Fletch is still breastfeeding and stuff, we couldn't leave him in Sydney for a night with anyone. So we had to take him with us, which is, it's always fun to go on an adventure with a little one, but meant that we had to take a sitter with us. So Jad's mum was available to come, and we took her down to Melbourne with us. But essentially, a couple of days before we left, I went online and had to book her a plane ticket. And now we're Sydney and we're going to Melbourne. It's an hour and 5-minute flight. And I went online, and I didn't go on the most expensive airline. I went on to, one of the more budgety ones. And I don't want to name names here. I don't want to throw shade on the airlines, but first one I looked at, the cheapest we could get on the same day that we needed her to be there to look after Fletch was $1,000 return to go to Melbourne from Sydney. To which point I texted Jad, she was in the other room, and I said, this is crazy. Like, should we even go? Like,
to go to Melbourne.
This is wild, So we looked at each other and I said, look, I'm going to check a few others, see if we can maybe use points or something, because that's just outrageous, right? So I went on to another website, carrier, who we have points with, and I tried to do it there. And the points they actually had a bug on their website where you couldn't put in a destination. So just like randomly their website was
working.
down. You couldn't work it, which is, frustrating itself. But I said, look, I'm going to wait till the morning now because I want to check that this website, it's probably a bug that will get fixed overnight. And so in the morning, I go back onto the second carrier's website and I look at the points, and it's costing something like 150,000 points to go to Melbourne, which is wild because that's like, sometimes what you can do to go to Europe or something, right? So an absolute rort, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I checked the price on that one, and it was $1,600 return. And I was like, holy moly.
To go to Melbourne.
Yeah, what is going on
It's an
here?
hour away.
So you could buy a car for that price and drive down. So I went back to the original.
Sorry.
I went back to the original.
Where are you looking at cars for $1,000?
Your car in our backyard, the blue one, that thing's worth like $500. You'd actually have about $750 left over.
But then you need to rego it.
You'd still have cash left over.
Okay, go
Okay, so I went back to the first carrier, right, to book, and I was like, look, we're going to have to just cop this $1,000 and do it. Went back to the first carrier, the exact same flight, exact same time, because we knew because we were putting her on the same flight as us, was now $1,250.
Yeah.
So it went up 25% in the last 12 hours overnight.
Insane.
And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
It should be illegal.
I remember the days when you'd fly to Melbourne for $89.
Yeah.
Like you'd get those emails and go, $89
Super
down to
saver.
Melbourne.
Woo.
And I was like, it's now like, what, 15 times the price?
And like, to be fair, the AO's on. But still, I don't understand how they can jack up the cost of what is exactly the same service just because a lot of other people are trying to get there at the same time. Like, what was the example you used in, like, if it was the same situation?
Well, I said, like, hypothetically, it's like the same as if someone comes onto our website to buy a top for $100 and then they put it in their cart and then the next morning, like, you know, they come back to buy it and it's suddenly $125.
Yeah, what? That's not happening.
Or like in COVID, like if, you know, and I understand you said it's the AO, so it's, you know, it's a supply and demand thing, I guess, at the end of the day. But it's like in the pandemic when there was like stores were running out of toilet paper. Like, if you know that toilet paper is in demand, you don't just like jack the price up 3 times and make it even hard. Like it doesn't make sense to me. And then
it's weird. It should be regulated. It's really strange because what if you had a family emergency, you had to fly to Melbourne, you know, on those dates and the AO just happened to be on?
Well, it's like one of the shortest flights you can possibly do in the country.
It's
right?
just
so
wild.
It's like domestically, it's like that's like a week's salary for most people. You know what I mean? After tax to spend that sort of money.
It's a lot of money.
It was crazy. But then what happened? I was like, okay, we're spending all this money. And then I was like, you know, we're taking someone down, like a guest, a sitter. They're going to need stuff. So I needed to, you know, get them check-in luggage, extra $50.
Yeah.
So there's that $1,300. Then
Unbelievable.
it said on the ticket when you purchased it said get to select your seat. And so I was like, great. At least she gets to sit next to us and we can have this nice family adventure. Went in to select the seat after purchasing. No, can't do it. It's another $60 if you want to choose the seat next to us. You could choose from like the back 4 rows. So they sell it to you like, oh, you get to pick your seat, but you actually get to pick your seat only from 4 rows.
Yeah.
And so here you are, if you want, like it's gone from $12.50 now to $13.50.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like that is, Jad and I, just for context, we went to Canada a year ago, just when Jad was still pregnant. We went to Canada for $1,500 return. So we flew to Canada and then took an internal flight.
Yeah.
So we flew all the way to Vancouver and then went Vancouver to Kelowna, which is like an hour flight. So it's the equivalent of Sydney to Melbourne for $1,500.
Yeah.
And you're getting charged $1,350 to go to Melbourne.
For an hour.
It is outrageous.
It is. With no meal. Not like, you know.
Oh, yeah. You don't even get
You're not even getting a meal.
They don't even give you a Diet Coke.
No.
That's an extra $6.
Would you like a water? Sure.
Yeah, water or a coffee that tastes like it's
Tea.
been sitting in that tin for 14 years. But yeah, that's my gripe, guys. $1,300 to get Sydney to Melbourne.
Let's hear your gripes.
I hate it. All right, guys. Now, we said the meat of today's ep is we are getting into some of your petty arguments. Now, the plan is here. We're going to read out the arguments that you guys have sent in, and then Jad and I are going to pick sides on who we think is right. It's normally, if I'm being honest, it's normally couples, but sometimes it's friends. So let's start off with the first one. It says, so I'm 20 weeks pregnant and feel like I'm getting bigger and bigger, but just on the brink of really popping. So I'm just feeling frumpy and feel like I look overly bloated. I was at home with my husband looking in the mirror and assessing my body, and I said, I'm feeling so big and frumpy right now. To which he replied, yeah, well, we haven't been eating very well lately. We have to lock in more. The silence was deafening. I could tell he realized the calamity of what he said. We laugh about it now, but we had a big argument about this and how he needs to communicate a little more gently with me, especially as my body changes through pregnancy.
We need to lock in is crazy.
We need to lock in. These guys must be like Olympians or something.
The use of the word we, like he's trying to make it less obvious, but it's so clear what he's saying. I reckon that's divorceable. That's a divorceable offence. When I was pregnant, you just feel so out of your depths with your body. Like you're just in a completely new body. There's nothing you can do about it. And, you know, you're nurturing a child, so it's probably a good thing if you're packing on weight. But if I said that to you and then that was your response to me, doghouse for
I think there's only
at least a week.
There's only one thing you should be doing as a partner when your partner's pregnant, and it's just hyping them and telling them that they still look amazing, they still look super beautiful, you're still super attracted to them. And if they mention that they're not feeling comfortable in their body, the last thing you do is agree with them and say, well, we haven't really been eating too well, have you? So I think
so
that
you
one's
need to lock in.
I'm actually surprised you even needed to write in for that one to get an answer, because I think if you surveyed 1 million people on that, you would get 1 million saying that you are in the right.
No, I reckon there'd be some people who say that.
You need to keep a trim figure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just get a little bump and that's it.
Some people are cooked, Danny.
Yeah, we have heard a few stories about people telling their partners that they can't put on weight and stuff in pregnancy.
Yeah, isn't that insane?
Yeah, it is. It is a bit weird. So, and I think it's like the one time where you should relax a little bit and realize that everything that you eat is going to your bub, and so probably a little bit more the better, and you'll have a healthier bub.
100%. We are siding with you. I think both of us.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised the silence isn't still deafening in that house.
Yeah.
So
thanks for writing in.
All the best, and I hope he's
that.
been a little bit nicer to you in the process.
Okay, here's the next one. When I'm telling my boyfriend a story or we are having a conversation and he looks at or picks up his phone, he always says he's still listening, but like, caps lock, why are you looking at your phone? Pay attention to me, 1 million sad emojis. Then I refuse to continue talking, and then he gets annoyed because I won't finish the story.
I'm with her.
Yeah, picking up the phone mid-conversation, that's annoying. Maybe if he was already on the phone trying to do something and then she started talking.
I'm glad you agree, because you kind of do this sometimes.
No, I don't.
I'm glad that you agree that it's
Pick
rude.
up my phone.
100% you do.
Mid-chat.
Yeah, sometimes you do. And I just stop talking like this girl. So I'm really resonating with, I really feel for this woman.
What are you talking about?
I experienced the same thing. I think it's so rude when people do this.
Are you serious?
What do you mean?
This is like you telling everyone I didn't make the chocolate cake.
No. Okay,
I made a chocolate cake the other day and he told everyone I didn't because I never bake, and everyone believed him.
Yeah, it was funny as.
It was a really good cake though. Anyway.
No, I couldn't agree more. Like, that is so frustrating. Imagine having a conversation with someone and they pick up their phone. It's like, whatever you're saying, I'm bored. It's not as
well,
wordy.
You don't need
as,
to
like,
imagine, because apparently it happens all the time.
It does sometimes, not all the time.
I'm
saying
already on my
me.
phone and you start yapping away. Yap, when I'm trying to work. I'm trying to do something, answer an email. I have a thought, right? I'm trying to get the thought down. Tappy, and you're going, and then you go, chat. And I'm like, yes.
I feel like you just felt like you had to make something up there to get back at me.
I'm like, can you just wait for me to be finished? That's when you talk to me.
Yeah,
See, that's annoying.
Yeah,
from the
100%
other side.
I agree. You're 100% in the right. If you're having a conversation with someone and they pick up their phone, I would stop talking as well, or I would just leave. And then if they ask me to continue, I'll do the exact same as you. Yeah, I wouldn't finish the story.
All right, I'm going to keep an eye on this situation.
I think the younger generation does this heaps though. Like, as in, they'll be in social situations, family situations, like
that's different.
And they'll be talking and just looking at their phones at the same time. No, it's not. I think if you're talking to someone, you need to give them your attention.
No, but that's all they know.
That doesn't make it okay.
Yeah, but they've been taught that from their parents.
No, I disagree. I just think if you give kids phones too early, the addiction kicks in, and it's like a muscle memory thing. Yeah. It's like, I haven't checked this thing for 2 minutes. It doesn't matter who's talking or what I'm in class or whatever it is. They just pull it out and do it. So yeah, I think that's super rude. And
I'm sorry if I do that. That's because that's really. I don't think I do that, but I'm sorry if I do.
Not all the time, but sometimes you do. It's okay. I forgive you.
Just let me know next time I do it so I can be aware.
Yeah, and then you'll go, yap, lock your yap. Yeah, all right, beautiful.
No, it's different. If I'm already on the phone, you're in the wrong there. Moving on.
Awesome. So if Jad's ever on a phone, I can't ever have a conversation with her. No,
just be patient. Go.
All right, guys. Okay, so for that one, obviously you're in the right and your boyfriend's not, and walk away if he's doing that.
I do agree. That's really annoying.
Yeah, frustrating. All right, the next one. It says, my husband went to a work conference for 4 days and 3 nights, and he left me to care for our 3-month-old Solo. The conference was being held 15 minutes from our house. Argument ensued about if he should come home some of the nights to help out. Whose side are you on?
Like, why are you with him?
It's wild.
Why are you with him?
I reckon he didn't
Why
even have
are you
a
with
conference.
him? That is so. What is that?
I reckon he's just staying at a mate's house down the road.
I reckon he's got a side piece. That's what it sounds like to me. What do you mean 15 minutes away? That's less time than it takes most people to get home normally from work.
Yeah, I think that is a serious cop out from your hubby, and I think he's just looking for a few.
That's not even a petty argument.
Sleep.
You should leave him.
And like I sort of get the thought behind it. Like a 3-month-old, maybe you guys have had like 12 weeks of no sleep. He got this conference, they're paying for a hotel, and he's like, I could
sleep.
I could catch up on a bit of sleep here. Because I remember recently when I had my operation, Jad was like, is it a day thing or night thing? And I was like, look, I've had 2. One was a day thing, one I had to stay overnight. And then I was like, if I have to stay overnight, like I'm not really against it. Like I'll be drugged up, I'll have like 12 hours of sleep. Like I haven't had that in 7 months. That might be all right, So like I get it. But at the same time, a 3-month-old is difficult. If you're living 15 minutes away, and it says here, like, the argument ensued if he should come home some of the nights.
Like, not even all.
Yeah, like, I just think he should stay at home like a normal guy and then go to the conference like a normal guy.
What do you need to be at the hotel for?
Imagine if his work was like in the, like, normal days, it took him 20 minutes to get to work.
That's what I mean.
I feel like,
where does he live in the office? Like, how far are you from the office for that to be desirable?
Trying to stretch the friendship here a little bit, and I think you have every right to call him out and say, "Get your ass home after the conference. Give me a little bit of a break, and head back in." Because he gets a break during the day. Trust me, being at the conference, sitting there listening to people, having a couple of coffees and a bit of catering, that is break enough.
I reckon look through his phone.
Wow, it's just infidelity.
I think look through his phone and find a conversation with a male name that you don't recognise and look through that.
Wow, okay.
That's what I think.
I hope you're not listening because I think
big sus vibes.
Okay, our producer's nodding head like we're getting agreements here. Everyone thinks that your husband's cheating, but I definitely don't think. I just think he's trying to get a little bit more sleep.
I hope not, but you could. That's snoopable, I reckon.
All right.
All right, next one. It was a busy day at the zoo. It was just my husband, my 2-year-old son and I. My husband was carrying a backpack with all of our belongings, everything, including my phone. I'm pregnant and I had to pee. We started walking to the toilets, but our son walked slowly, so my husband said, "You go ahead and we'll catch up." I go past a busy food court area to the toilets. When done, I come out and scan the area, but it's packed with people and my family is nowhere to be seen. I wait out the front for them and walk around the food court for about 15 minutes before realising they aren't there. I ended up finding them about 20 metres away at the closest animal enclosure. I was upset that I had to find them. Husband was shocked that I was upset. He said that they weren't even that far, and the obvious thing to do would have been for me to walk around in that direction as it's where we were coming from. Who's in the wrong here? I'd like to know your opinion on this.
I feel like that's something you'd get mad at me about, for sure.
Who's in the wrong?
But I don't disagree. I don't think she's in the wrong. Because I remember as a kid, the one thing I was taught, like my parents said, if ever we lose you or if ever you get lost in a shopping centre or wherever we are, like go to the last place we were both together.
Sure.
Like that's where we'll meet up. Like you don't go looking for each other. You just go to the last place you were or where you lost and you stayed at that place. So eventually they'll get back there, right? Like that's how I would find a missing person, I guess.
Yeah, but look, here's the thing, right? This is important detail. She was walking around for 15 minutes. Maybe he thought that she was still in there. Like you sometimes take 45 when you're in the bathroom.
Whose side are you on here? Hers or his?
No, I'm saying, well, perhaps he was going to make his way back.
I love how you made that little cheeky dig then, but the last couple of days I've had to come and check that you haven't fallen into the toilet.
No.
Because I feel like
you
sometimes...
give me about 3 minutes before you come in.
I feel like sometimes you just go to the toilet now just to get a break from Fletcher and I.
Is that what you're doing?
No, don't turn this on me.
No, that's interesting that's where your brain goes.
I have evidence on my phone where I've texted asking if you need help if you've fallen in because you've taken so long
That's
in the
okay.
bathroom.
That doesn't prove that I went in there 30 minutes prior.
All right, mate. So wait, whose side are you on here? I'm confused.
Well, like I'm saying if it's 15 minutes, it's possible that he just didn't realise that 15 minutes had gone by, thought she was still in there and was going to make his way over still. However, he's then argued with her and saying that she should have come and found them. So,
and that's... in your eyes, that's definitely the wrong thing to do, right?
I think this is she's in the right here. I reckon he should have been waiting and then gone to see the animals, obviously.
I don't disagree.
Especially if he had her phone. Come on.
Yeah. You got to wait for your wife, unfortunately, in that scenario. And if your kid's kicking off, buy him an ice cream in the packed food court and then wait all together. But yeah, and trust me, when your wife tells you that she's upset, you're not meant to argue back, are you, Jad? You're just meant to just hear what they're saying and understand, right? Because that's what I have to do at home.
You should run a course because you're so good at that now.
If Jad tells me that she's upset about anything, I have to go, I understand.
No.
I hear you. I'm not allowed to explain what's going on with any logic or reason.
Oh, we're getting into this?
I'm just letting people know. But I also agree with the lady here. So
Locke's favourite thing to do is when I am upset about something and I express myself, he then berates me with a line of questioning. And then when I say, sweetheart, I'd really like it if you just acknowledge what I was saying. And instead of trying to argue your point, he goes, I'm not arguing. I'm just asking a question. I'm asking a question. And then he just keeps asking these questions.
Yeah,
which
because I'm
are
asking to understand.
So irritating. No,
I'm
you're not.
asking to
You're
understand.
asking to try to prove your point. I told you we shouldn't get into this.
Okay.
This
next
is a
one
whole
then.
other podcast.
Okay.
We need
this
to bring
one,
back Dr. Love.
Okay, this one is written, like when I first got this one, the first line is in caps. So I was like, whoa, this one's going to be serious. And then it ends up not being that serious, but I like it anyway. It's a good one. So it says, tell me who is in the right. I live in a share house with 4 girls. We're all best friends and we share almost everything. I am, however, very attached to my one mug. I like the shape and size of it. It's the only thing I prefer not to share as I need it basically every day. My best mate, housemate, thinks it's unreasonable, and since we all share everything, I should just let whoever use it. Am I being a sook here, or is that fair enough?
No, fair enough. As someone who lived in multiple share houses, you got to hide it in your room, babe. What are you doing with that out in the open?
I feel like that's such an easy counter, right? Just like use it and then put it in your room.
Put it in your room.
And if someone comes into your room to take it and use it, then they're sick in the head.
Yeah, exactly. I lived in a share house that the kitchen was so unbearably gross. And every time I went to grab a bowl and spoon to eat my cereal, it was dirty. So I would clean it and then take it up to my room and hoard it in my room. So sometimes you just got to do that.
I feel like you've almost got petty friends if they're not
Yeah.
willing to give you that one as well.
I also know someone who lived in a share house who hid a pan in her room,
Was
like
it
a
you?
cooking pan.
Was it you?
No, it was someone else. Like, because she had this really nice brand new pan and she didn't want everyone scraping it with their metal because they ruined the other one. So she hid her favourite pan in her room.
Sounds like you.
I think that's an easy fix.
Yeah, I feel like if you communicate that to your friends and just go like, hey, this is my favourite mug or it means a lot
She
to me
did.
and I love it. And then your friends disrespect, like, who cares? It's a cup. Like, your friends should
What?
just go, yeah, no worries. Like, enjoy
No.
your cup. I'll get another one.
Yeah,
you get
but
them from
she's
IKEA
allowed-
for $2.
She's allowed to want her mug for herself. I think
You're
it's
very
annoying.
you're very valid in your feelings here,
No,
Jadé.
you are, because that's frustrating and your friend should respect that you just want your own mug, but you have to put it in your room.
Yeah, it sounds like a simple one, but just to counter that, just chuck in your room. Easy. Yeah. And
She
your
wasn't
friend-
looking for advice though. She wanted validation.
Your friend's
So
a bit of a weirdo, I think, if they're
yeah.
trying to use the cup that you really have a connection to.
We're validating you.
Yeah, we're so validating you.
Okay. So the next one says, so my boyfriend and I both use Snapchat a lot and you have the option to share your location with people on it. I've suggested doing this with each other and he doesn't want to. He says, if you trust me, I shouldn't need to share my location 24/7. That feels controlling. I say, it's not about control, it's about safety. If something happens, I want to know where he is. Is sharing your location with your partner a sign of trust and care, or does it come across as controlling and over the top? This is really interesting because I think a lot of younger people do this.
Yeah.
I think it's really common.
Sure. What's your take?
I think it's really weird that people just have their locations available to other people all the time.
I think it is
It's really
controlling
odd.
and over the top.
Yeah, I think if you're asking someone to do it, it's odd. If you've both gone, let's share our locations together for this reason, like so we can find each other's phones if we ever lose them, sure. If you're like married and together and whatever, like that. Or with your kid even, like that makes more sense.
I just think like it is a trust thing. You should be able to ask your partner a question and them answer you, and you like
Yeah.
trust their answer. So when you go like it's not about control, it's about safety. Like I don't really understand even how that argument works. Because hypothetically, like I've needed Jad when I had my injury, I needed Jad, right? Like I needed her help. I needed her to come pick me up and rush me to hospital because I couldn't drive, couldn't move, right? She's not going to know that that's happened until I pick up my phone and call her. And then when I call her, I'm going to tell her where I am. So like I don't need to share my location. You don't need to know my location for safety.
I think you should be trusting enough to not have to do that. But
Oh, here we go.
by the same token, if you've asked and someone's kind of gone, no.
Yeah, because it's controlling and weird. What's the issue there?
Yeah, but maybe it's dodgy. Maybe she has a feeling something dodgy's going on. That's why she wants to watch him.
You just think everyone's cheating at all times.
Yeah, I don't trust many
That's
people.
a real negative mindset.
But, think about it. It sounds like she's got a kind of instinct going, oh, something's happening. I want to see where you are. And he's going, no, access denied. Does he let you look through his phone?
She's not here. She can't answer.
But ask yourself the question at home.
Wait, do people do this?
Yeah. Like, I look through your phone, right? Oh, can I look at photos? Like,
yeah, but you're looking through my phone you're not looking through my phone to like catch me out doing something
no, but I'm
shady.
saying like if he was being sus vibes, he wouldn't let you even look at it.
I reckon
Do you
the
know his
most
passcode?
common sentence said on this podcast is sus vibes. I don't even know what it means.
We should rename the podcast just sus vibes.
I think just anytime anything is potentially wrong, just goes sus vibes. Just give him sus vibes.
It is giving sus vibes.
I think he just doesn't want to
You
have
don't
a
need
GPS,
his location, babe.
GPS tracker
You're
on.
just going to
Yeah.
go crazy staring at that thing when he's not with you. By the
It's
sounds,
dumb.
I think you don't need that. You don't need to see that.
Yeah, respect his wishes, and I mean, to me, it does come across as a little bit controlling. I don't really think it's about safety. So, and if something happens and he needs your help, he'll let you know.
If you're sus on something, then you need to delve a bit deeper on that topic.
Yeah, if you think he's cheating, then just don't be with him. Simple as that. If you can't trust each other, it's not going to work. But yeah, I'm with your boyfriend on this one. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, guys, next one. It says, I think I know what you guys are going to say, but I'll ask anyway. My boyfriend and his friends like to party. We had a big fight a few months back because he went on a night out with his friends and just didn't come home for 3 days.
Sorry?
He turned his phone off and was uncontactable for the entire time.
Sorry?
When he eventually came home, he blamed his friends for coercing him into bendering for 3 days,
Oh, yeah.
turning off his phone and not letting me know what the heck was going on. I was mortified. Am I justified in feeling that?
That's not petty. That's like
I
full
know, that's
blown.
crazy,
I would
eh?
break up over that.
Same.
3 days of no contact and your phone being off and then coming back and going, sorry, it was the boys. Like, what is that?
Yeah, that is some.
Did
that
the
is some
boys like
pussy
literally
behaviour.
put you in handcuffs and tie you to a pole and say you can't contact your missus for 3 days? Sorry.
The thing is, right, like, it sounds like you're not married here. It's just my boyfriend, right? But if your boyfriend wanted to do that, even if you disagree with him and he wanted to do it anyway, okay, do it anyway and deal with the ramifications. But let your partner know,
Yeah.
like, hey,
See
I'm
ya.
going out with the boys. We're going to have a messy couple of days. I'm not coming home. I'm going to stay at Steve's house and I'm going to turn off my phone because I just want to have fun with the lads. And then at least they know that you're safe. And, you know, like they might not agree with what you're doing and you might have a tricky conversation when you get home from that couple of days, which I can imagine.
Sounds
but
like he wants to
just
be
turn
single,
off your,
to be honest.
Yeah, to turn off your phone and not be able to be contacted for days and not let your partner know. Like I would sit at home and I'd be calling the police and I'd be stressing
Yeah.
out of my mind. So I would... Yeah, I'd be surprised if you're still with your boyfriend after that, if I'm being honest. That's horrible behavior.
Guys, some of these aren't even petty. I'm just concerned for you.
I feel like,
what are
yeah.
you doing with this person?
Yeah, I feel like that person, that's like a real lack of respect if they
Yeah,
don't even let you know where they
I
are for
agree.
days.
That's
So
crazy.
if Jad did that to me, I would have brushed her
Yeah.
ASAP.
We actually had this conversation. We would have left each other if either of us did this to the other
100%,
person.
yeah. And then Jad said, Jad then goes, what if we were married? And I said, if
It
we were
makes it a bit
married, I probably
harder.
wouldn't leave you because, you know, I respect our family a bit more than that and making it work. But I would literally want you to, like, I don't know, speak to someone and get help.
Yeah,
'cause,
Locke said I'd want you to get help for that if we would.
If you're going AWOL for 3 days.
Otherwise, we'd leave one another. So just so you know, that's
Yeah.
what we think on that situation.
Yeah, that's what we think. You're definitely in the right there. You're right. You didn't need to ask us, but alas, there's our answer.
I wonder whether he tried to argue with her about it.
You can't really justify that, can you?
Terrible. Terrible human. All right, next one. My boyfriend and I alternate cooking nights during the week. It's winter here in London and freezing, and he always opts to make stupid cold salads for dinner. I get mad because give me hot potatoes and a winter dinner. He says that meals aren't seasonal and salads are all year round. Who's in the wrong here? See, that's a petty fight. And I 100% agree with you. What the hell is a cold salad for dinner? Sorry, that's a side. That is a side dish, cold salad. That's not a meal.
No, like a nice salad with lots of stuff in it and then like a protein, like some sort of meat. That can definitely be a meal. I've seen you
cold.
order that when we go to restaurants.
That's hot meat. What do you mean? Hot meat on the cold salad. Good, nice, yummy
You can have
meal.
cold chicken on a cold salad.
Rarely.
I'm not
in summer, maybe.
If you are in winter in London, that's going to be cold and you would like a nice hearty meal
Yeah,
at the end of the day.
that's
I can
heinous.
appreciate that. I eat differently in winter and summer as well, so I get it.
He's being
but at the same time,
lazy.
if you're alternating nights, maybe a way to solve this is you get to choose what the other person makes.
Yeah.
Therefore, if he really wants the cold salad, he can give it to you to make on your night and then you get to request what he makes on his night. Because it sounds like perhaps he's getting out of this night by night thing by being a little bit
I think he's
cheeky and
being lazy with his food choice because anyone can make a bloody cold salad.
Can I just, I love that sentence. Can I just ask, Jad, what do you eat for dinner every night?
What do you mean?
I'm just asking.
Salad and a hot steak? Yeah, but that's not a cold salad.
Well, it is. It's a cold salad, and then you put a bit of warm meat on top.
The meat's half the meal, sweetheart.
It's all right. I just liked what you said about it being lazy to make a salad, but that's what you make every night.
Well, yeah, we got a baby. Sometimes I'm lazy with my meals. Also, it works. It's a hit.
It is delicious, but it's also summer here in Sydney,
Exactly.
in Australia.
There's still a hot
January,
element
so,
of the dish.
Yeah, it's toasty as hell here. But yeah, I don't know. I think he hasn't done anything wrong by making the salad. But if you're not happy with it, try that little switcheroo thing where you get to request something from him and he gets to request something from you, and then we'll see if he requests the cold salad.
Whose side are you on?
Because if he doesn't request you making the cold salad, then he's giving sus vibes. He's giving absolute sus vibes, and I'd probably leave him. He's probably cheating on you. He's probably cheating on you with someone who loves salads.
Check his phone.
Yeah, check his phone, turn on the GPS.
Big sus vibes.
Oh, my God.
Wait, whose side are you on? We have to pick sides.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like this one's just like...
I'm on your side.
Classic. I really validate how you feel. Yeah, I guess I'm on your side as well, because also, if I was making dinner for Jad every night and she said to me, I don't want this, and I kept making it, that is just absolute silly behavior from me.
Silly.
Like, you want to, like, my thing with cooking, if Jad's not around, I would eat the blandest, plainest stuff. Like,
not even bland and plain. Care. It's packaged food.
I don't care.
He pulls out a packet of jerky and a tuna out of a tin, and that's his dinner. It's
But
disgusting.
when I cook for Jad, which is every night of her whole life, I cook her a nice meal, and I always go like, what do you want for dinner? Like, what would you like to eat? Do you feel like this? Because, I cook to make the person that I'm cooking for happy, or like, I like that. I don't
Why do you
care
keep
if it's just for
overcooking the
myself.
steak then?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Here we go. Jad, actually, okay, if you're going to throw shade on me.
Here we go.
I got a barbecue recently, right? First time we've had a barbecue. We're really excited because we use it all the time, right? First time I set it up, Jad goes, I want to barbecue the meat. I go, have you done much barbecuing before?
Sorry,
like,
how long did we have the barbecue? Sorry, context. And how long did it take you to set up once I'd done half the job?
What has that
I
got to do
half
with
set it
anything?
up. You weren't even excited. So I was excited. I half set it up.
Yeah, because the thing is, right, when I got this barbecue, all it is another chore for me, because it just meant that I'm going to be making dinner even more often on this thing. So I was like, I'm going to leave it.
How do you make dinner more than you do now? It's once a night. How many dinners are you making?
Oh, it's a bit ungrateful. You make dinner once a night for me, you petty fool. Okay, whatever. So Jad goes, I want to cook the barbecue the first time. And I go, do you want some help? Like, do you know how the barbecues work? Like, da-da-da. And
Do I know how barbecues
She
work?
goes, yeah, I'm just going to turn on full blast and chuck the meat on. And then she was
never
out
said
there.
that.
She was out there going, how long do I keep it on for? And I went, well, a couple minutes each side.
That I
da-da-da.
didn't know.
And then it came in, and the thing was like, it was almost alive again. It had been cooked so much. Like, this thing there was no pink inside. And so then I went back on barbecue duty, and you commend me every night.
And he overcooked the meat also.
Oh my gosh. It's just lies.
Look, he's gotten better now. But
Look, I'm with you, because if you're asking your partner to do a night of cooking and he's cooking something continuously that you don't want, then he's not really living up to his end of the deal.
yeah,
So
I agree. I think that's a bit rude.
yeah, so I reckon have that little chat with him, and then if he refuses, just tell him he's cheating and leave him, because sus vibes.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we appreciate you letting us into your little petty fights. I mean, there's plenty more. So if you did enjoy this episode, we can do another one. So leave us a little comment on the episode if you want some more. But to end today, of course, we have a little Ask Mum and Dad. So it says, "Hi, Mum and Dad, love the pod. My husband and I listen every week. Now, my question is, we're expecting parents to be, and we're only announcing to our families at the 12-week mark just to be in the clear. What made you guys tell your families straight away when you were pregnant with Fletch? We've only got a few more weeks before we can tell them, but I'm bursting at the seams. I just want to tell people. Do you have any advice for the waiting game?"
I think it's really just up to the individual, isn't it? Like, no one needs to wait for the 12-week mark. It's just kind of like a fail-safe that people have started putting into place if you're concerned about miscarrying, because it's more likely for you to miscarry within those first 12 weeks. So, look, I know plenty of people who don't wait the 12 weeks to tell their loved ones. Like, we didn't, because they're our loved ones. And if we, lost a baby, it's very likely that we would tell them that anyway. So that's why we told them, I think.
Yeah, I think this like my answer for this, my sister actually spoke to me about this and the reason why she's got a couple of kids now, and she would tell the family early, like when she found out. And when I asked her, I said, oh, like how come you didn't wait this arbitrary 12 weeks that everyone waits for? She kind of said, well, this is really exciting for me and it means a lot to me and I'm really invested in it. And if something goes wrong and I lose the child, like I want to be able to talk to my family about it, and I want them to know that I had it in the first place. And then if I'm going through this horrible thing, which I also want their help and assistance and support with, like I want them to know. I don't want to have to tell them, hey, I was pregnant and hey, I have lost the baby.
Yes.
And that made a lot of sense to me. I was like, oh, that makes total sense, because like who are you going to trust with this information if not your family and closest friends for love and support if hypothetically, touch wood, something bad goes wrong. So that to me is like, I mean, the waiting game, it sounds like you guys are doing it anyway, but I don't think there's any harm in telling from quite early on. And I understand that, miscarrying the first 12 weeks is quite a high percentage thing. But I think that's, for me, it was even more reason to share the news with, and it's not share the news with everyone. It's share the news with, the close people that if something were to go wrong and you were, quite down, it's the people that would support you in that moment. So whether that's your closest family or your close couple of friends. I don't think there's anything wrong with telling people in that sort of moment. So
absolutely.
I don't really have much advice for you for the waiting game, but I just think, if you are bursting at the seams and you did want to share that with family and friends, I'd be a big advocate of that. Because of the reasons we've just discussed.
Exactly. Like we told our close friends and family. I don't even know. Did we tell friends or just family?
It was more family, and then friends. We didn't.
As we got further along, I think then we started telling our really close friends.
Or like when we didn't like make plans to see them to tell them, but it was when we saw them, we shared it with them, sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's really up to you. Everyone's different, but that's why we decided to tell people, is because we're kind of open in terms of sharing our lives with the people that we love, and I mean everyone else in the world as well.
But million people.
Yeah. So if you feel comfortable sharing that, and then go ahead. There's no reason.
I'd be a big advocate, even more so for family first. So like telling your family, and then you can save it if you want to, share it with your friends a little bit later on. But definitely that support system and network that you would lean on in times of struggle, I would be telling them.
It is exciting. Yeah. Like when you're excited and you want to share news with people, like instead of waiting and then eventually telling them, and maybe that's already subsided a bit, like enjoy it with them now.
Yeah, you heard it here first. We can't help you with the waiting game, but we can help you with. You're probably going to tell your parents after you listen to this episode, so good luck and enjoy the moment. It's very special. But guys, that's all we have for you this week. Another episode, Mad About You, done and dusted. We appreciate having your ears every single week. It means a lot to us. And I found out something crazy the other day. I went on Spotify.
What's going on?
You can leave comments on Spotify now.
I know. What's that about?
It's crazy, yeah.
Do we want that?
Wow, we'll wait and see.
I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, well, everyone I think is on every episode is just going to write sus vibes.
Sus vibes. Yeah,
this episode's giving sus vibes.
If you like the episode, please leave sus vibes in the comments.
So yeah, if you did, we appreciate
Jokes, actually don't.
Oh, okay.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, imagine people reading the comments.
People are going to go,
is this episode
this is a
good? Like,
weird
sus vibes.
podcast. Everyone's saying it's heaps sus. Please don't say that.
Yeah, you're overusing it now. So. Guys, we'd appreciate a review. It means a lot. And now that you can comment, you can let us know what your favourite bits are, if you're enjoying some bits more than others, and what you want more of and what you want less of.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it, and we will see you next week.
See you soon.